Hi, I'm Aja. I am a henna artist who has a very deep interest in death and dying, the process of end of life. And so,
Yes, I'm all ears. As you can see.
literally, I love it.
Yes, I'm
I
all
love it.
ears to you today.
Absolutely.
Yes, so yeah, the first question I normally would ask the friends that I've interviewed, and we are good friends today. First question I usually ask is, who are you? Like, who are you?
Ooh, wow, that's pretty layered. Um, and since we're on the topic of death and dying, anyway, I feel like I'm becoming who I was always meant to be, but I've been dealing with a lot of grief around letting go of the people I was and the choices I had to make in order to get here and all of that. So I would say I'm a creative. I would say that I am evolving, and at this stage right now, I may be emotionally, spiritually, creatively at my, I don't want to say peak, but I definitely feel like I'm in a really good space, balancing my creativity, expressing my creativity, and being myself, and also getting paid to do that. And that, even though I'm not where I want to be completely yet, it's a huge, really huge thing, because I mean, isn't that like the dream? To get paid to do what you love to do. So again, there are levels. There are levels to it all, but I would say I'm definitely a creative who is living in my own creativity, living in the life I created for myself.
Yeah. And how does that translate to everything, like your past? How does it connect to your past and probably to your future?
Well, the past, it connects because I believe my child, the little Aja, would be elated. Of course, there are some parts of the journey that um, are more difficult to even think about. But I would say little Aja would just be, she would be super proud and elated that I've gotten to a place where I understand what my impact is. I'm no longer afraid of the power that I hold. And I'm not afraid to, or ashamed to, help people. I think I used to help people from a place of wanting to feel needed. Wanting to feel, but now when I help people, I have no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people give money and they're just like, well, what are you going to do with the money? It's just like, well, you shouldn't be giving money if you're worried about what they're going to do with it, because you're supposed to be giving from a place of just pure love and compassion. And so I feel like I'm there now, and I wasn't there before. I would help people and I would do things and hope that people would love me in return, or that they would appreciate me. But now it's just like, I don't care what you do with it. So that's a huge that of course there are many things, but that in particular helps me to see growth.
That's true.
Yeah.
And do you think that, like, the little Aja would have imagined this, you becoming this?
Yeah. I've always been a big dreamer. I'm an Aquarius.
Me too.
So well, yeah, right. We talked about that. So I've always seen a huge, big. So this is not even, you know, I'm just scratching the surface here.
Yes.
The plans that I have, the goals that I have, so I think she would want me to be present with where I am right now. And enjoy it, embrace it, because it's not gonna be long.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
So, I think she would be proud. I think she would want me to be present. And I think she would hug me. I think she would say thank you.
Yeah.
For getting us here, because for a long time there.
It was a long journey, huh?
Whoa. And I don't think sometimes you even realize it until you sit back and you're like, you have a chance to decompress, right? You have that presence of mind. You have the quiet, so you can kind of reflect.
Yes.
But when you're in survival, that's all you're doing is surviving. So you don't even have it's like reflection is a luxury.
It is.
Because you're so busy just trying to make it through the day, making through the, you know.
Yeah.
And then for so many people who look like me, I think, you know, some of the communities we come from, you're lucky if you make it to see 20, 21, you know, these things. So it's like to make it, success looks different for everybody, but just to get to a place where you have genuine peace and you're living in your authenticity, I think that is, in the lottery of life, I believe that you've won.
Yes.
Now I know for some people, you know, it's like that ain't a whole lot. They like peace. They're like, I'll give me the money, but but for me, it's like just I was living in chaos. All I knew for years, like, you know, maybe my whole 20s was just like chaos.
I feel you.
That is all I was aware of.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was hard to even think of what could be or what was the possibilities, because you know. Did
you have any close encounters with death?
I did. I definitely did. I had some moments like many people like us, I think, who where you find that, oh, I must be here for a reason. Because it's almost impossible that I made it out of that. Like, it's unreal. So, absolutely. I won't say it's been like, but see, I don't know, right? Because on the other side, you don't really know what you're being protected from. You don't know what you're really being kept from. I was driving down Jimmy Dias. Was it yesterday, the day before yesterday? I took my kids. My husband was working from home. And I said, let me just get out, take the kids, let's get some ice cream. Yeah. You know, give him a little break, because I know he's tired of yelling and jumping around and all that stuff. So we got in the car, and I saw maybe 4 accidents. You know where I live. You know where Jimmy Dias is. Between my house and Jimmy Dias, there were 4 different separate, not one. These are 4 separate accidents.
Crazy. Is that Masters Week accident traffic?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But all of them looked like they could have been avoidable. All of them did. It wasn't like something crazy, like a truck rolled over. It was nothing like that. It was just cars.
Rear-ending each other.
Yeah. And then somebody bumps into them, and it's like, now we got a pile up because somebody wasn't paying attention or whatever. And so for me, I know on a grander scale of things, when you say near-death experiences, you probably mean something more.
No, it's different for everyone.
But to me, that counts as well, because I'm driving past with my kids, my car, my body, my limbs, my children intact.
And it makes you reflect on things.
Absolutely. How can you not? How can you not? That's why they do what they call it rubbernecking. When people are just stopping and staring, because you marvel at how that didn't happen to you just now.
Yes.
Well, I mean, for me, it is. It's like, whoa. Jimmy Dias ain't but so long. How do you have 4 accidents on one road? What are you doing?
Crazy.
And I don't even want to know. I'm just like, I was able to get past, and you know, of course it was backed up a lot of the way and stuff like that. But once I got past, and I was just like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Well, keep them safe, you know. Let their souls make it to wherever they need to go or whatever. I say my little prayers when I see the accidents. But yeah, those moments for me are just like, it's a reminder Ooh.
If you have a choice, how long would you want to live?
I just want to make it till I know my kids are okay.
Yeah.
I just want those little small moments where I know in my heart and I can say, okay, I did what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're fine. I can go.
Yeah.
I know so many people say they want to live till they're 100 and all that. But me personally, I could be doing other things with my time. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let me go help from behind the scenes and
Yeah.
assist that way or something like that. But I can go whenever I know my kids are okay.
How do you imagine? Do you have any imaginings of the afterlife? Would you call yourself a spiritual or scientific or both?
Yeah, I do. I do, but it's a little skewed, just because of media and movies and things we take in, information we take in. I guess I would just view it as like a waiting room. I don't know. That's how I see it. Like you would be there and you realize that you're there and you'd be kind of just hanging out doing whatever you do until you get your next assignment. That's how I see it. So it might be really nice and comfortable, and maybe some of us stay longer than others.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a different plane, some other realm. Now the human design side would say kind of scientific, but in general, I've always been very spiritual, and not necessarily even trying. Just I've always had a connection, a direct line, and so even growing up in church and all the things, I never felt like I had to do what other people had to do in order to get information. Like I know, a lot of people fast or they do this or they do that in order to get signs or get a word or to make a decision. But I've always had a very clear connection, very clear voice that says, no, don't do this. Yes, go here, It's always been like that. Always, since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've known God personally. So I've never needed like a third party or never felt like I needed a third party. Yeah. And I know this would probably piss my mom off if she ever heard it. Because she's very like, go to church. You need to go to church. You need community. You need this. But I feel like I've built that for myself.
Yeah.
And the silence, when I get quiet, everything I need is there. All my resources, my spiritual guides, my spirit team, my angels, whatever you want to call them, they're all in the silence. So anytime I go there, whether physically or mentally, emotionally, everything that I'm looking for is usually there.
Tell me more about the silence and how did it start? How did it happen? Like, what's the origin of silence?
The origin of silence for me, it is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna sound crazy, but the origin of silence for me was incarceration. I went to jail, and I spent, I'm gonna say, 18 months. I was incarcerated, and not that that's a super quiet place. I'm not gonna say that place in particular is quiet, but cultivating that stillness from within yourself. Yes. And so, like I said, I grew up in church. My father's mother was a prophetess in the church. People went to her and literally, like when they needed life advice or guidance or whatever, they would literally go to her and tell her all their problems, and she would just, in a few words, she would tell them what's going to happen to them and what they should do and how they should dress and whatever. You're going to this interview, you need to wear this, you need to say that, and you'll be fine.
Wise woman.
And go. And they would go, and then, you would see them a week, 2 weeks later, they would just be crying, coming back to her, thanking her. Thank you so much, you do. But that was just her, so I grew up with that kind of in my vicinity. So that kind of stuff is kind of hard to ignore. When you see someone who's just so sure.
Yes.
And they never do things like other people do things. Like neither of my grandmothers. They never did things like other people did things. My mother's mother, she had a way with like plants and she was a healer.
Wow.
So for her day job, because she was a black woman growing up in, she did somewhat grow up in the South, but she ended up moving up north. And at that time, it was like a rare thing to even be a nurse, to get your nurse's license, get your real estate license. It was hard for black women to do things like that. So she was a rarity, either way you look at it. And then she became a nurse because that was what was acceptable, right? But in her personal time, she was a healer. She tended to your physical ailments, your spiritual. She fed you spiritually. That's just some kind of person she was. So like if you scrape your knee, she would go straight to her little. She had there was a staircase, a winding staircase, and in the flat part there was a window, and in this window she would have all her plants, and you scrape your knee, she go break off a piece of aloe vera, rub it over your knee, and
she's amazing.
And it was like magic to a kid. Now obviously I don't know that aloe vera has all these healing properties and stuff like that, but she did. And I was just like, oh, she's great. I had no clue. I thought it was, like you said, magic.
Yeah.
And so I think having those examples are things that grounded me. Even though these women didn't live till I was in my 20s or get to see me have kids or anything like that, they were always guiding me. And so I was going down a really dark path for a long time. And I think God was just like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. So I'm going to sit you down because you're not listening. So I went to jail. And I hear a lot of people say that. When I say a lot of people, I don't mean like the masses, but I hear a nice sized group of people saying that their time in jail changed them. Yeah. Because it's how you use your time. It doesn't really matter the physical location.
Exactly.
But it's how you use your time. And people asked me what I needed when I was in there. And I asked them for Bibles. And I had like maybe 4 or 5 different versions of the Bible.
Wow.
I had the Message. I had the King James Version. I had 2 other versions. I think the NIV and another one. And I love the Message. I don't know if you've ever read that, but oh my God, the way that it's like they turn the Bible into poetry. It's just so beautiful. And I know there are a lot of Christians who will be like, it's skewed and you can't take his take on, you can't take everything you read to heart and but it's like the Bible's been translated how many times anyway? Yes. So this is just his take on it. Exactly. And it's a beautiful take. Yes. It's a beautiful take. Yeah. So I had those Bibles. I would read them side by side, compare notes. One of them, girl, had so many different highlighters. Like it was tattered, okay? Because I would be reading. And so I got through the entirety of all of them. And I would compare the scriptures, and I wanted to know for myself. Because you can go to church, you can hear from your mother, you can hear from your father, you can hear from whoever. But it even says that in the Bible, like, you study to show yourself approved, not others. Yes. And so I read for myself, and I wanted to really, really understand what it was trying to tell me, what I needed to understand from this, because the way the world looked and the way my life was going and all, it didn't seem like nothing like what this book is, to me. From my perspective. And so I was like, maybe if I read it for myself, maybe if I get an understanding for myself, maybe it will help me to understand myself better. Maybe it'll help me navigate better. And then a big thing for me was like forgiveness. So that's where I learned forgiveness. It's through the Bible, through my connection with God at that time. I didn't understand forgiveness at all. Like I would hold grudges for years, like, and I didn't even understand why. Myself, I'm like, why am I like this? Why am I just holding on to that? And and I can't let it go. And so that's where I learned forgiveness. And it was through that process of me taking the time to read those books, to highlight passages that I felt resonated with me, or messages that was being communicated through that. I think that's where I cultivated the quiet, the stillness.
Yes.
Because I would ask while I was reading or before I started reading, speak to me. Let me hear your voice. What do I need to understand from this? Because I'm just like, it's not adding up. I'm looking around like, this cannot be life. This cannot be all that there is. And so, yeah, I think that's what started everything, is me going to jail, being sat down, not having a choice, because you do not have a choice. You might be able to use the phone for a period, or you may be able to, do little activities or whatever, but majority of the time you're locked down, you're in a cell. What are you gonna do with that time? Like, what can you do with that time? I know some people do push-ups and they get all buff and stuff like that, but I'm an intellectual. I love learning, I love reading, I love all the things. So for me, I was just like, I'm gonna figure out what this book is saying. I'm gonna figure it out for myself, not what somebody else is telling me or somebody else's interpretation, my own take on it. And like I said, I think that's really where I was able to understand that silence and being able to hear is a huge, huge, huge deal, especially in a world where there's so much noise. There's so many distractions, especially now. Like, even then it was bad, but it's like even worse now. Because this was back in like 2013, 2012. So, it's gotten 10 times worse now with the AI, with the social media, social media was a thing then too, but not even close to how it is now with all the influencers and the, just so much lies and misinformation, So, that really did help me to navigate. And of course, even when I got out of jail, I still struggled and I still, went through things, but I made myself some promises. And I never forgot those experiences that I had there. And that and my grandmother's, and like you say, your intuition and all that is what kind of guided me forward. And still had to make some hard choices, still had to do some things that maybe not proud of, but that's how I cultivated, I think, or should I say, that's how I nourished what was already there that I just didn't really fully understand.
I want to know what you learned from silence about forgiveness.
Well, I learned that there are what's called spectrums. Everything is a spectrum. Good, bad. Supposedly opposites, but when you think about it, they're the same thing. They're just on opposite ends of the spectrum. It's the same thing. So willingness to be forgiven is the same thing as the willingness to forgive. You have to be able to allow yourself to be forgiven for the things that you've done. And I think that's a big part of Christianity that I struggle with for so long, because it's just like, well, how can you just forgive a murderer, a rapist, like, or me, all the things that I've done? How can you just forgive me? And it's just over, just like that. Just poof. Now it's like like nothing's wrong. To me, that just always sounded so stupid. I was just like, it makes no sense, because you can just go on a murder spree, and then, oh well, you asked for forgiveness, so now you're forgiven. Like, what? So I had to go through the steps, kind of like what is it called when you're in recovery, like alcoholism or Narcotics Anonymous. You go through these steps, and I think one of the steps, I don't know which step it is, so don't quote me. One of the steps is you have to like reach out to everybody you've wronged and ask for forgiveness or apologize. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but So I went through that. I did that. Not because I was in recovery or anything. Well, I guess in a way I was, but not not explicitly. Um, so I did. I went back through and I I wrote a letter while I was in jail to people that who I had their addresses that I knew how to reach to, obviously, because everybody, you can't, some people you just have to write a letter to and then tear it up or whatever. But for everybody that I knew their address, I knew how to reach them, I wrote them a letter and explained to them what I felt that I had done wrong and how I probably could have done better. And I apologized. And that was healing in a way that I didn't even know was a thing. Like, I was like, hey, that's not so bad, and then I made a conscious effort to not wrong anybody.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, because obviously, you could wrong somebody without even feeling like you did anything. But like not intentionally hurting people. Yeah. And then also I opened myself up for allowing others to forgive me, because I had a lot of shame. And like I said, that's why to me that Christianity can be such a slippery slope, because there is so much shame.
100%.
So much shame.
Yes. It's driven by shame.
And my heart hurts for people who live in that, because, especially the Catholic.
Yes.
Because, oh my God, everything is shame. And it's like you almost can't even function, because you're living in, everything is shame. And so you're used to other people not forgiving you. How can they ever forgive me? You're so shameful. Your life is, look at what you've done. Look at how you look and how you dress. It's just, everything is shame. Yes. So it's like, you don't even expect people to forgive you. Yeah. You don't even know you never even come close to what that could feel like. Even though they tell you Jesus is the way, right? And he will forgive your sins. But you've never experienced that, not even with the humans that you've maybe known your whole life. So I had to be open to that. Not only giving forgiveness, but being willing to receive that. And also being okay if I don't get it from who I think I'm supposed to get it from. I would have never known that had I not been in jail, had I not wronged people. Because although I was in there for a crime that I didn't commit, there were plenty of other crimes that I had committed that I didn't get caught for. Okay, out here just doing anything. Okay, so blessings. Thank God it wasn't, because it could have been a lot worse. But I had to let people forgive me, and like I said, be okay if they didn't. I had to forgive myself and say, look at what you were working with, Aja. Yes. You were working with like they say, MacGyver. You had a nickel and a paper clip and a piece of string.
Yes.
That's what they gave you to work with.
Yes.
And so you did the best you could with what you had.
That's true.
And so offering forgiveness, receiving forgiveness, being okay with not receiving it, and forgiving yourself. And doing that as many times as you need to do, in no particular order, on whatever basis that you need to do. Because as a parent, I just think about parents who are constantly on themselves about how they're parenting. Yeah. That's heavy. Oh, I did this wrong. I did that wrong. It's like, just give yourself a little grace. Give yourself some forgiveness. You're not going to do this perfectly.
How do you see yourself as an old person or a grandma?
Hopefully gray. I would love to be just totally gray.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that.
Awesome.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be totally gray. I want to be in my garden, fit. I want for my kids to come to me with questions, needing advice, trusting me with personal issues, and having a deep connection with them. Yeah. Guiding them as best as I can, with assistance, not forcefully, but with my grandbabies. if I, I'm blessed to make it that far, and I want to have impacted as many women as I could possibly have impacted in my life, I can go. Yeah. I can go with that.
What kind of impact do you want to bring to women? What are you fighting for, or what's your inspiration and motivation for women?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I know all my stories are starting with jail. Please don't think I'm like a jailbird, because I'm not. It was only the one period of my life, okay? But anyways, I was in jail. I was in jail. This is when I had some pivotal experiences. Yes. What can I say? Yes. I met this woman, and in hindsight now, looking back, there was no reason for her to be there. Like, even the story of how she got there was just bizarre. It was crazy. It was crazy. So it was like one of those supernatural things. But she looked physically, outside looking in, she looked like a white lady. But she said that she was Puerto Rican. And she had these crystal blue eyes. They were so piercing. You could not see them. You know, like those kind of eyes. Like she was just staring into your soul or something. She was sitting right across from me. It was so bizarre. So she was having a dinner party at her house. Somebody came to the home to rob the home. Zip tied them and everything. Took whatever they was going to take, then they leave. They finally were able to get loose, and they called the police, and the police arrested them.
What? Bizarre. Crazy.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Why would you arrest the people who got robbed? Yeah. Unless maybe they thought it was, they were lying.
Yeah.
Or making it up, or something like that. But even still, it's bizarre. It was just bizarre. Of course, she wasn't there long. They did end up releasing her and stuff like that. But she came and went like that. But in the time that we talked, it was almost like time stopped, because there were other people in the holding cell with us, but it was like it was just me and her. And she asked me, she said, if you could do anything in this world, she said, I'm not asking you about money, forget about it. I'm not asking you about anything else. She said, if you could do anything in this world with your life, with your gifts, what would you do? And I told her, I said, I would help women and girls. I didn't even really have to think about it. It just came out like that. And at the time, I didn't even know what or why or how I would be helping them. Yeah. I just knew that's what I wanted to do, because I knew how I had suffered. And I knew that I wanted others to not have to go through that. Homeless shelters, living, sleeping in cars, all this kind of stuff. You're so much more vulnerable as a woman doing those things than a man being. And I know there's some people who will argue with that, but that's my take on it. And so after having that experience and her pulling that, because I feel like she pulled it out of me, because I responded so quickly. Yeah. And that's usually not me. Usually I at least think about it for a little bit or something, but it just came right out. Yeah. And not long after that, she left, and I never saw her again. Whoa. And I knew then that was it. It was supernatural. It was supernatural. And I had this feeling, how you get that chill? Goosebumps. The whole time we were talking. Wow. It was like I just had this chill. Looking back on it now, people can say what they want, but looking back on it now, I believe she was an angel. I believe she came down to speak to me, to help me to see what I was here to do. Yeah. Because before that, I was lost. I was lost. And so, but now I know why I would help women and how I would help women. Okay, so that happened over time, but she helped me to identify the target audience, right? Yes. And then as time went on and I had my own experience, I figured out how and why. So the impact would be to help women to see that their life doesn't have to go one way. You can be an artist, you can be a singer, you can frolic, you can do nothing. You can rest all day if that's what you choose to do. You can garden, you can do whatever. You do not have to be college educated to be of value. Just you existing. Yes. You having breath in your body makes you of value. That alone. I know we live in a society where you have to be productive and be bringing something to the table and
true.
independent and have your hair and nails done all the time and all these things. But the truth is, yes, hustle culture. But the truth is, us just right here doing what we're doing, we're shifting things.
Yes.
We're shifting things just by doing it. So that would be my biggest thing that I would like to impart on women and girls. And how I will do that is through communication.
Yes.
Like we're doing now, through henna art.
Yes.
Because that is something that you can do, a skill that you can learn completely on your own, that you don't have to go to school for and get in debt. Okay. And you can start your own business. You can pass it on to somebody else. You can do whatever you want with it. It could be a hobby, something that helps you unwind. It really should be considered therapy, a form of therapy. It really should, because it is so therapeutic. Well, you know, because you got henna.
And you're good at it.
And so that would be one way. And then also I would like to eventually be able to provide a program where girls are learning those kind of skills: henna, gardening, flower arranging, all the girly dainty things that are so much fun, that can be turned into money if you choose, but also they could just be for you.
Yeah.
You know, your own method of healing. Journaling, that's a huge one. Because at the end of the day, just being able to release, you know, process, unwind, journaling is also very therapeutic. You know, meditation, just all the things. I would like to be able to provide a space where women can go and do all of those things and just be women, be around other women, be around women who have the same similar ideas, creativity, you know, that kind of thing. Just an oasis, a very peaceful place where we don't have to be our past or our future or our wife or whatever titles that you hold in your day-to-day. Just a place to just be. And so that's part of the Dallas move, you know, having the land, having the space to be able to create stuff like that. So it can be a retreat with a farmhouse retreat. I don't know, it can be all the things, but it's you know, gotta get there, gotta get the boots on the ground, but it is a real thing.
I'm so excited for you.
Yes, thank you. It's a ditto, because you know you gotta come visit. Yeah, now you gotta come visit. Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about
this. This is delicious.
For you, it's a special day.
Tres leches chai.
Lactose free.
Absolutely delicious.
In the spirit and in the topic of death and dying, how do you, like, if there's any message perhaps or legacy that you would want to leave behind when you pass, which we don't know when, you know, it can be when we're super old or it can be anytime.
Tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So what legacy would you like to leave into the world? Or
this is probably gonna sound so cliche, but I would say my message is for women. I don't care. I'm sorry. Men can take it and listen to it, and that's great too. But I believe my ministry is women. I believe I'm here to help women. I mean, my business is literally centered around women. So I would say always bet on yourself. You know, those things that you think would be cool, that little, oh, I like this, you know, whatever. Just bet on yourself.
Take a risk.
Do that.
Yes.
Do that. Before you leave this earth, at least be able to look back and say, well, damn, I did it. Maybe it didn't work out how I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't super, like a global success. But affect change where you can in your community, and always bet on yourself. Put yourself first, bet on yourself. And, you know, I also would like to say to women, you know, don't be in a rush to get married.
Yes, I agree with that.
Because they try to tell us that from childhood.
I know.
And not to say that marriage isn't a good thing and it can't be beneficial in any way or good for you or good for your health or anything, because you got to find the right partner. That's what it boils down to. But don't be so eager.
Yes.
Because there are so many women who look back over their lives and they say, wow, everything I did, I could have did without a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hear that, I'm just like...
And you got to find yourself first, too.
Yeah. Have those experiences. Yeah, so definitely if you're going to get married, don't get married young.
Mm-hmm.
Get married when you're ready. But don't be so eager to do it. And get that passport and travel the world.
Yes.
Go see something. Because anything you can get here, anything you can get where you are, you can get better somewhere else.
Yes.
There is no, you know, I remember when I was packing up to go to Malaysia, and I was so worried about my son having diapers and this and this and that, because he was so little, you know.
Yeah.
He was maybe a little over a year old. And I was just like, oh God, well, I don't want to pack too many diapers, but if I don't pack enough diapers, then he may not have diapers or whatever. And it's like, you are crazy. You don't think they have diapers over there? Like, I literally was freaking out about it. And I'm just like, well, his bottles, and they're going to want to inspect the bottles because, you know, 9/11, they want to inspect all the liquids, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So I was like so tripping about these little trivial things. And when I got there and I saw that the stores had everything, I was just like, what do you think these people are living in times or you know, back in... It's like, what are you thinking? Yeah. They use diapers. They may not have... Because one thing I noticed is that nobody uses strollers. I didn't see one stroller the whole time I was there. So I was like, oh, this is an American thing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see the kids in car seats either. Girl, we'd be on the highway, you see the kids in the back seat listening to Cardi B. I was like, this is Malaysia? Why are they listening to Cardi B?
Crazy.
Why do they even know who she is?
Yeah.
And why are they not in a... They don't have no seatbelt on, no cart, no nothing.
God.
Little kids back there cutting up. I was like, this is insane.
This isn't... Yeah.
But they have duped us in so many ways, because... How are they... They're alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking like they thriving to me.
Mm-hmm.
To me.
Yeah.
So what is this that we have to have? Oh, you have to, you know, all these rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, traffic is dangerous. The road is dangerous.
Yeah.
We know that.
I grew up in Asia. I started going to school by myself at 9. By myself. Riding transportation and stuff. That's Asia.
Wow. Yeah, definitely not here, because you would be so concerned about the child being abducted or being messed with, or you know, we would never.
Yes.
And that was another thing that I noticed when I was there. I was not concerned about people harming my child. It just wasn't even a thought in my head. I instantly felt that he was safe, and that he was. And girl, they passed him around like he was a.
Oh.
I mean, they passed him. People wanted to take pictures. I'm like, this is a baby.
Yes.
It's a baby. They love kids. Love kids.
Yeah.
Had a child care at the hotels. That just blew me away.
Yeah.
That blew me away. So yeah. Asia is definitely a whole totally different ball game. Different culture. The food. The welcome that you feel.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally different. So honestly, I had to be here, and I had to meet my husband, and I had to have, you know, but I would give my left arm to go to go back to Asia, to live there, to build a home there. Maybe not live there full time, but yeah, particularly Malaysia, Thailand. I've never been to Laos. I've never been to the Philippines. Never been to Singapore. Still want to go to Singapore. There are still parts of Malaysia that I want to see. Like I was telling you before, I want to go to Ipoh. I have some friends that have a bakery Atlanta, and they're from Ipo,
Yeah.
and they say you need a second stomach just to
Yeah.
live there because they eat so much. They have so much food.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds amazing.
There's-
So yeah, there's still a lot of places that I want to see. I haven't been to China, so
I can imagine you having a retreat center in one of those places.
yes, I would love that. I would love that. Anything related to, I'm just like, yes, the wellness. That's just where my mind is right now. But I think it's a big thing across the board because so many women we're in a deficit from not having, not caring for ourselves in that way.
Exactly.
And so we're catching up, trying to play catch up.
Exactly.
I love it. I think that like I said, it's kind of long overdue. A lot of it because we, the caretaking and
yes,
so being a wife, being a this, being a that.
Yeah, being a mom.
Yeah, it's a lot. Even if it's just animals, it's like you got to do all this. So.
And so, okay, if you have like a choice, how would you like to die, and when? Oh, well, I've already asked the when, but how?
Wow, that is a very interesting question. Wow, because there's so many connotations with that. Right, because at that point you're gone. So that means other people have to adhere to your. How would I like to die? I would like to die floating. I would like to be on the water. Wow. Yeah, that would be lovely.
Your idea of dying is dying in water.
Yeah, I would like to float.
Float.
Don't bury me in all that. Don't do any of that.
And is that like dying slowly, like floating with your loved ones, or just with one person?
Just me. I would just like to just be floating off. Yeah, I will already have said my goodbyes, I'm sure. I don't know, the type of person I am, I feel like I'll know the day. Like I'll know the time or something like that. I don't know, I could be wrong, but you know how like Tupac, he knew he was, he did. He knew he was. Yeah, he wrote about it. He talked about it all the time.
Wow.
He was like obsessed with it.
Wow.
Yeah, he knew it was coming.
Wow.
And he was right. It did. So I feel like I'm one of those kind of people. Like I'll kind of be like, something's not right, or whatever, and make my peace with everything. But hopefully, like I said, I'll have done it in such a way that everybody's okay. So it won't be this very sad, very drab, like it'll kind of be like a peaceful thing.
Yeah. And with that, like, what do you think needs to change with the current like death and dying culture that we currently have?
Well, we kind of talked about this before. I don't see any death etiquette, like at all.
Yes.
Like we don't know what to say. We don't know how to support. We don't know how to help. We don't know how to be present. All of those things. So I think we could take a page out of Asia's book with just being there. Some of you guys' households, there's 3 generations in one household, and that's like a normal thing.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise when the person is ill or like you said, going through that dying process. It's not anything that you weren't already aware of because they're there. So it's totally different. You prepare different. You have a different kind of connection to it because you weren't a gazillion miles away and had to fly in because they're, you know what I'm saying? It's totally different. So I think the presence, if grandparents were in the home, that would extend life, one, right? And then like I said, you would just be aware. You would be aware. And so yeah, we definitely need we need more death doulas, more people who are willing to do that work. There's one here in Augusta, and her last name is Allen. I can't remember her first name at the moment, but I'll send you her information. But she's here, and she gives free information, you know, about everything. And I believe the education is the big part of it, because like I'll give you an example. So before I did henna, I did real estate. While I was doing real estate, I had like a niche, you could say. So I focused a lot on probated properties, which basically means somebody's died.
Yes.
And so I had a little bit more empathy and compassion, not because I had to, but that's just because a part of who I am. So I understood that I was dealing with people who just experienced some sort of tragedy. You know, the degree to which can vary, but oftentimes the loved one left them a property and they had passed on, and their belongings were still in the home. Their, you know what I'm saying? Their little memories of their life were still there in physical form. And so part of being of assistance to them is not just helping them to sell the property, right? It is also providing resources to them. It is also being very gentle with how you word things, how you refer to the dead. Not necessarily tiptoeing around truth, but just having that additional compassion for the grief that they may be experiencing, and actually taking something off of their plate so that they can grieve in a way that is healthy. And while, you know, maintaining that professionalism and like I said, giving them other options, because, you know, that person had a whole life. You know, they had cars, they may have owned a business, and all of these things you have to do something with them. Well, in a lot of cases, it's sad, but, and I know that people learned a lot about it during COVID, because there was a lot of unexpected deaths, right? A lot of people who own property, a lot of people who own businesses, a lot of people who had multiple cars, a lot of people who had a lot of things. And so you shift in that moment from being the child or the cousin or the aunt or the whatever to automatically being a someone who has to bequeath these things. You have to find somewhere for these things to go. You have to do something. So oftentimes, and I know a lot of my generation experiences it as well, oftentimes these things go into the trash. You know, years of hard work, things that they've saved up for, grand pianos, all these things, they don't mean a lot to our group. They meant a lot to their parents. They worked hard for these things, but for us, what are we going to do with a grand piano? What are we going to do with that? Where's it gonna go? So a lot of the times that stuff goes into the trash, or you have to hire a service, and some people don't even want to deal with that. And there's one here in Georgia called Everything But the House. So they come in, they'll itemize all the antique stuff or all the belongings, they'll separate them, categorize them, and then they'll put them on their website for auction. And then, you know, there is some kind of split between you and them, and you know, that's how they make their money. So it is very helpful to people who can afford the service, but some people maybe can't afford that service. And then you know, so there are resources, there are other options, but not being aware of them because you may be grieving, that's a whole thing, you know. And so we need more people who are professionals, who are in those spaces, who are able to hold space for those people while they go through what they're going through. So I believe death doulas are something that is very necessary. Heavy work. So I totally understand people not wanting to do it, but there has to be someone. And then advocates. So that would mean people who, like what I was doing, dealing in probate, people who can provide resources, people who can offer services, maybe counseling or support groups or any kind of things like that. We need more of that to support people, because going from being the grieving child or whatever connection you had to the the person who has passed on, going from that to automatically playing a role of uh, uh, overseer, uh, what is it called? Beneficiary, whatever. It's not something you can just switch on and off, but sometimes people have to because they have no choice. They don't know who to call. They don't know, those services aren't everyday services. And so if they were, I think that would make it a lot easier for people to be able to navigate their feelings, their thoughts, their experience, because maybe the one that you lost, you never had a relationship with. Maybe you were never close with them. And so maybe that's part of the reason why you don't want any of their belongings. You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many layers to it. So firstly, properly letting people properly grieve, taking some things off of their plate so that they can do that. And then making them aware, educating them about the resources that are available to them should they choose to seek that out. Just letting them know that it's there for and providing whatever kind of support that you can through whatever your professional career choice is, even if that is just a real estate agent. It could be something as simple as maybe the person isn't dead, maybe they're dying. Okay, where can they go? Maybe the family's not equipped to take them in and care for them. Okay, what does that look like? So even just providing other options, resources, like I said, that can take a lot off of the family's plate, because we think about the person who's experiencing dying, but what about the family? Right, because they're going to be the ones left to pick up the pieces. They have to file the paperwork and pay the debts in some cases and things like that. And so such a sensitive time to be dealing with paperwork, like to have paperwork shoved in your face, especially if, like I said, there was no healing around the relationship and you guys still have wounds and never got to talk, or those kind of things. That affects every little thing. And so as professionals, I think it's so important that we have that kind of training so that we can support them in that way as well. I think it just adds an additional layer of comfort, because why do I want to go with you? Why am I going to choose you? You're not even letting me know what resources are available to me. You can't even help me, So as a professional who's in that kind of a realm, whatever your role is, I think it's important to educate and equip yourself as well, so that when you come into those kind of situations, you're aware of what needs to be done in the physical, and also able to assist in the emotional to the best of your capacity. Obviously, you're not their therapist or anything like that, but you should be able to be professional and provide compassion at the same time. So,
as individuals, what do you think should we do to prepare ourselves for that time when we die? To prepare ourselves and our loved ones.
Part of it, I would say, so, okay, well, this is just my take on it. Part of it would be to deal with that acceptance now, because you are going to die. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your background, what you've done, if you're a millionaire or whatever. Everybody has it. I mean, so that would be the first thing I would say. Get to a place of acceptance with that and get comfortable talking about it. Because if you can't have those kind of conversations, even you, how can you have those kind of conversations with your loved ones? How can you prepare them? Preparedness is maybe not everything, I guess. But I do believe that to some degree, having already laid some sort of a foundation around it, it doesn't take away the pain. It's not necessarily going to make things easier, but to have a plan, to be able to navigate that plan when it comes right down to it, I think can take away some of the angst around it. Because to be grieving and not know what to do next, and to have to make all the phone calls, and to have to rush around, and for example, my mother, like, she never had to go through that. My grandmother had everything in place. My grandmother had a scare at a very young age. She was in like her 20s when she was told not only would she be not able to have kids, but that she wouldn't live long because of a health issue that she had. And so immediately she went and paid for her cremation, all of that. She did not want to be buried. She knew that. She left her instructions for everything else, but she did that in her 20s. Now, she didn't actually pass until she was in kind of like her late 70s, but she already had that stuff in place. And so when she did pass on, and you know, she had some affairs that still hadn't been completely wrapped up and stuff like that, but by the time that she passed on, at least that stuff was taken care of. So whatever my mom had to do was a lot less than what she would have had to do had she not taken those steps. And so even my mom was saying, like, you know, that gave her additional room to, you know, to try to process, you know, because they didn't have the best relationship, but it's like, well, at least you didn't have to worry about, you know, the burial, her getting dressed up, all that, you know, you avoided all of that. And I think my grandmother had a very simple request. I think she wanted her ashes spread over some body of water or something like that. And so very simple. Yeah. So not hard to honor. So things like that, just preparedness, being educated, going to seek out your resources, or getting in touch with people who already have those resources. That's a huge thing. Not waiting, I guess, is what it really boils down to. Not everybody's gonna have a family office. I understand that. Not everybody's wealthy like that. Not everybody is going to have all of their ducks in a row at the time. Like I that part I understand, but as much as you can do while you're alive, do it. And then also, I think a huge thing is, and this is just my personal take on it, don't wait. Don't wait to give your kids money. Don't wait to leave your kids property. What are you waiting for? You can't even see the look on their face when they see what you've left them. What are you waiting for?
I know.
Well, when I die, you can have my money. Most often, the people could use the money right now. Okay, maybe put it in a trust for them. Yeah. Maybe, you know, when you feel like they're mature enough, they can have access to it or something like that. But to me, it's just like, what are you waiting for you to die? Like, that makes no sense.
It doesn't.
So now I have to grieve.
It feels more like a bribe.
You know?
Yeah.
You have to, like, that's the ultimate form of control.
Yes.
If you ask me. It's like, you have serious control issues.
It is.
Because what difference does it make?
Yeah.
If you have the money now, give it to them now.
Yeah.
Maybe that will change their life now.
Yes.
Not when you're gone and they're grieving and maybe not in the clearest state of mind. You know, it's so bizarre to me.
It is bizarre.
Well, I'm going to leave you a bag of gold when I die.
Yes.
But you see me struggling right now.
Yeah.
Can you just give me the bag of gold, please?
Yeah.
And why does it have to be this whole thing? So I don't know. In America, things are done differently, and a lot of it is very strange. It does feel like a scam because now I have to feel guilty while I'm spending this money. Well, how would they want me to spend the money? They're not here to tell me. Yeah. You know, if that, you know, whatever. But it's stupid to me. So I would say, don't wait. Don't wait on anything. If you love your kids, you care about your kids. You saved them this Chevy from '95 that you worked on and you souped it up and made it look all good. Give them the car now.
That's a very beautiful thought. I think more people should think the way you do.
Give them the car. Like,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Now I have to walk around with your death certificate.
Yeah. Just to get the car.
Just to get the car.
Yeah.
Just to get access to the bank account.
Instead of grieving properly.
What sense does that make?
Yeah.
So I believe the life that I'm creating is a foundation for my children. And should they choose to follow in my footsteps, they're more than welcome to, but they are not obligated to. And I can leave knowing that they're good, you know. That's the biggest thing. And like once that I know that, I'm just like, what am I gonna wait? You know, you get 200 acres of land and then you die, and then your kids get it, and then now they hate you, so they're just gonna sell it, you know, or whatever. But if you actually, while you were living, showed them how to take care of the land, how to plant, how to, you know, all these things, and say, you know what, this is actually yours. This was never even for me. This was all about you. Just imagine the difference in what receiving that would feel like versus after they're already gone. Like that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Because then you may not want it because you're just like, well, it's just like a ghost is walking around here. You know what I'm saying? Or something weird, like, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much my take on it.
Yeah. Do you think that you've said like most of the things that you have, like your ideas about death and dying, or do you think that there are things that you would probably want to say more, talk more about?
No, I feel like we covered like the brunt of it, the gist of it. I mean, of course, I have still like quirky little. I think I love the whole Egyptian style, that embodiment of a goddess or a god, and doing the ritual to put yourself down in history that way. Like that's epic way to die.
Built you a pyramid.
Yes. Epic way to die.
Yeah.
Wow. If we just cared more and like took a little more time. Simple things, you know. It'd be so dope.
Yeah.
To be like with all your favorite things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 200 years from now, there's
people
Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Future Tomb Raider.
Right. Looking for your treasures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that it's a topic that people should spend more time on. And definitely not wait until last minute at all, but like, what does that mean? You know, what does that mean? You leaving this physical body and going on your next journey, wherever that may be, whatever that looks like to you. I do like the tree thing that they do.
Tree.
The what is that called? Where they basically plant a tree over.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I do like that. The idea that somehow you can live on through that tree in a way.
Yeah.
I do like that. I don't like all the
sci-fi
technology, all that, because I can live without. But I do like that. I believe it's called human composting.
Huh. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I do like that idea because you're using it for a purpose of benefiting the life that does go on.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I kind of even like the little scan thing, the little QR code where you can kind of get a flash of what the person's life was like or whatever.
I didn't know about that.
I like that.
Tell
a little.
me about it.
Well, some people, I don't know how popular it is, but and it's probably very you know, people don't want to talk about stuff like that, so I get it. But it's basically like the family would put together, like, I guess, I don't know, compilation videos or something like that. And so people who are at the gravesite, for whatever reason, if they just happen to be walking past or whatever, they can scan it and kind of get a glimpse of what the person's life was like.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
I think that's kind of cool.
It is cool.
If it's done properly.